Yeah, so thanks for having me.
Well, we teed it up. So, what did you say? He's Regina.
Regina born, but played some hockey in Calgary before going to the Western League. And then, what a journey. I mean, some great years in Minnesota.
So, what were because you have the Calgary ties, right?
Yeah, I call Calgary. I say I grew up in Calgary because I did. I was born in Regina. I lived in Toronto, Winnipeg, Vancouver, and then got to Calgary when I was about 10 years old. So most of all my important hockey years and school years and everything was Calgary, up until I'd still go back there in the summer until I started playing at Edmonton full time, and then we stayed up in Edmonton.
More importantly, let's talk about the important things that are happening in life. What's on your head?
Not a Bills guy?
Yes, I am a Bills guy.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I fell in love with the Bills a few years ago. And just, I love football. I never really had a team. Of course, I cheer the Vikings on living in Minnesota here, but just love football in general, fantasy, all that stuff. And then I just started watching the Bills and Josh Allen. And what's there not to like? I mean, they're one of the most exciting teams. You got to love Josh Allen, the way he plays. He's tough as nails. He's a beast. And I just fell in love with watching him. So I'm a huge fan.
Oh, I do think there's one thing not to like, but that's fine. We'll move along.
What?
Well, they're just kind of missing one thing. That's all.
Shut up.
There you go. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time.
I can be a big Bills fan, but I don't have that tie where things bother me.
Oh, so Rep played there for how many years?
5. Well,
and you were there for some of the pain or right after the pain?
No,
4 in a row?
For some reason in Saskatchewan, we had the Rochester feed as a kid growing up. And so we watched the Bills lose 4 straight. And then I went to Buffalo and we lost in the final. And then it's the curse of Buffalo. And my wife's from there. And you take it all in.
Part of the experience.
It's part of the experience. Are we going to a game this year? You're going to come to the new stadium?
I would love to.
Oh, we're going.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Look at this.
Bruce Smith at the Big Tree, isn't that it?
Yes, me and Bruce Smith at the Big Tree. Just getting cranked.
I didn't know we'd be talking Bills.
That's exciting.
Because we could
wear that hat on the show.
We could pivot. It has been. It's from a coaching perspective. There's been some nightmare moments in this Oilers Kings series. Blown leads, come from behind. Oilers tie it, then give up a rough goal in game 1, but they've been persistent. From what you've seen, how much of this is credit to the Oilers for stepping things up? We talked about it earlier. Shots were 33-13 Edmonton in the third and overtime yesterday. And how much of it is LA? I don't know if it's subconscious, if it's by design from the coach, that they just take their foot off the gas, it seems like, and let the door open for Edmonton.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. LA was going to that. It's almost like a 0-5 forecheck. I mean, they weren't even across the red line, and I get it. They do defend well, but you just saw Edmonton just went at them over and over and over again, and there wasn't a lot of scoring chances at the start. They had no choice. They couldn't get anything on the rush, which was by design for LA, so they had to chip it in and go get it. But eventually they ended up wearing them down because LA is just trying to do that for too long. They have no pressure the other way, no ozone time. Edmonton, the Edmonton players are too good. McDavid and Draisaitl out there every other shift. You just can't contain them, and that what we saw from Edmonton is what I've kind of been waiting to see for the whole series. Is the previous seasons, Edmonton would go in against LA and they had this confidence, this swagger. They were the better team. The games went 7-6-5 throughout the series, but Edmonton was always the power play threat. Every time there was a penalty called, it was almost an automatic goal, and LA was kind of hanging on for dear life. And then all of a sudden at the start of this series, pre-series, they were talking about LA being more prepared, better built for this situation. And then you watch game 1, minus the comeback, you watch game 2, and it was LA that was the confident team. They were the ones that were going out there and walking all over Edmonton and making it look like they were the favorites. They were the confident ones. And it was worrisome for Oilers fans to watch that because they were getting dominated. They were forcing stuff, ugly mistakes. LA was snapping it around. The penalty kill for Edmonton was horrific. Still not entirely sure if that's fixed completely, but at least they got some kills last game. But now finally we got a little bit with the comeback in game 3. But that third period in overtime, that was a different Oilers hockey team. And they need to find a way to do that all the time. And obviously, LA is not going to sit back in an 0-5 at puck drop and maybe they might not after. But I just thought the jump and the aggressiveness from Edmonton, especially in overtime, they're go. But when LA came in and tried to cross the blue line, try to do anything on the rush, all of a sudden Edmonton was pressuring. They were aggressive. They were cutting everything off. LA didn't have the opportunity to come across the line, make a drop pass, snap one across, and have a shot coming downhill. Edmonton gave them nothing. And that energy and jump, wherever that came from, needs to be from the start of the game. Don't wait till you're down 2 goals.
Walk us through your assessment of the 3 goalies you've seen in this series and maybe what lies ahead. That was a big decision for the Oilers to switch. Maybe not a difficult one, I suppose, when you look at the body of work through, 5-ish periods. But given your background, what have you made of the goalies?
You know what? Before the series, I said in my mind, I was like, it would take so much for me to go to Pickard here. And that's nothing against Pickard, but I just truly believe that if Edmonton wants to win a Stanley Cup, that Stuart Skinner's got to take them there. After 2 games with just the talk around, obviously Skinner, he hadn't played well. He led in 11 goals in 2 games, but you go back through the 2 games, is like, what is he going to do? Like, you can start picking it apart and being like, maybe you could have saved that one. Maybe you could have saved that one. Of course, you need some saves sprinkled in here and there, but the way the Oilers were playing, I mean, they weren't giving up shots. They're just giving up grade A's. So he's standing back there and just bad turnovers and everything. And it didn't really matter who was in the net at that point. But leading into the playoffs, all this talk about the Oilers goaltending, that pressure's there, and everybody was just ready to explode on him. So going into game 3, I got asked after game 2, it's like you almost have to go to Pickard because the way the guys are playing in front of them, and every single goal that goes in is like Skinner sucks and everybody blows up, and they needed something. They needed some boost. And the thing with Skinner is he's very stiff and positional when he plays. So you don't get a lot of like exciting plays and exciting saves. And Pix is awesome, and he does what he does. He plays the way he is. He's a puck stopper. He's a little bit of street hockey in him, but he battles. His teammates love him, and so you're going to get exciting saves out of him that maybe don't need to be exciting, but they're going to be. And for whatever reason, the Oilers just needed a boost. The fans needed a boost. It's like a big save here or there and get going. And you watch the guys, the way they play in front of them, they play confidently in front of them. Some people might hold their breath a little bit when some shots come in, but it certainly doesn't seem like the guys in front of them do. So at that point, I think it was important that they needed to make a change just purely for a boost to the team in front of them.
What about Kemper? What do you thought? He's announced today as a Vezina finalist, by the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, look at overtime last night. I mean, that was one of those games where you're thinking there's a chance that the puck comes down the ice and something crazy happens and LA wins this game, because Kemper was making every 2 minutes was making a 10 beller. 4, 5, 6, 7 saves in overtime when Edmonton was just all over him. He looked incredibly good. He's looked good for the majority of the series. Just kind of blips here and there of when Edmonton pours it on. So he's been good. Obviously, Edmonton's got to be in the mind a little bit with comebacks when you're up 2+ goals in a game. It feels like you can never close it out. So I think with playing with Kemps, he's an emotional guy, and I said from game 1, I think it's important for Edmonton to get in his kitchen a little bit. So, just give him some bumps. It's easy to stay focused when everything's good and you're winning a hockey game and you're feeling good. But if they can get up a couple goals and start to rattle him a little bit, just a couple pokes here and there, he's an emotional guy and he'll get fired up and thrown off a little bit. So I think there's an opportunity there for Edmonton.
Were you with him in Phoenix?
No, in Mini.
In Mini.
I got traded to Minnesota. Yeah, there was 3 of us here. It was me, Backstrom, and Kemper, and then I played a few years with Kemper here.
Gotcha.
How much have you been following the Wild? It's been an incredible season for them. The really, really hot start, the huge injuries, and then this series, which I think has surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, it has been surprising. And, the 2 games they lost to, they played extremely well. And it's good for them because it's a scary series for them coming into, having gone 0-3 in the regular season against them. And then you lose game 1 in Vegas. And, to just not have a winning feeling. Vegas is a really good hockey team, obviously, but that can just start to pile up quickly, and they've stuck with it. I mean, their top guys are incredible. The way Boldy's playing, Kaprizov, and Eriksson Ek, they needed that hot start at the start of the season, because when those guys went away, it was tough sledding for the Wild for quite a while during the regular season. But their hot run at the start kind of gave them that buffer to be able to go through and finally clinch in game 82. And these guys are dangerous with that group, and they're not going anywhere either. So I don't know if they get past Vegas or not. I think Vegas is still a threat. They should be happy they're at 2-2. They just missed an opportunity to be up 3-1. They definitely have a chance, but I think there's a lot of good things coming for Minnesota going forward. This Buyum defenseman, as well as about $15 million in dead cap space about to come off for a little spendy in the offseason.
You would know what it's like as a goalie, and I guess it's just a sports thing. A lot of times, until you do something, a lot of people are going to think, well, this guy can't do it. And right now for Connor Hellebuyck, that's the playoffs. In his last 13 playoff games, he's 3-10 with a 4.53 goals against and an .863 save percentage, who is, during the regular season, the best goalie on any given night on the planet.
A lock for the Vezina.
What are you seeing with Hellebuyck? And I went over the goals, kind of looking. He's not getting a lot of help on a lot of them, but it's not like he's totally off the hook either. There's a lot that's plaguing the Jets as they just bled out in these 2 games in St. Louis.
It's a strange anomaly, and I thought maybe this year we'd see something a little different. This is obviously, I think, the best Jets team of the sample size that we have for playoffs. I don't know what it is. I don't know if teams have the ability to scout Winnipeg and scout their weaknesses going into a playoff series, because it certainly seems like, watching the last game, these goals that are going in from the point, there's just these crossing screens, and the Jets defensemen, they're kind of chasing guys across the front of the net. They're hitting bodies. They're not bad goals, but why is it happening now and not in the regular season, where in the regular season he doesn't give up more than 2 goals ever, and he just gave up 12 in 2 games. So it is concerning. I'm a big fan of Hellebuyck. I know him well. He's a great guy. You watch him in the regular season, and if this was 1 playoffs or 2 playoffs, I think the concern is it's 4 years now in a row, and what is it? Why is it? And I wish I had a better answer for you. I'm always wanted to jump on the goalie side and take the goalie side and say, we like to talk and everybody makes bigger of certain things than they are. Man, 4 years in a row going from Vezina to low 800s. I don't know. It's crazy to me, and hopefully they can go back home and take a breath and get back on track, because that was a beatdown in St. Louis.
No, they can't go to Comrie there, can they?
Like no. I don't care what happens.
Don't they?
I don't care what happens. You don't take them out of the net.
Yeah.
Unless maybe one game if you want to have a quicker leash, but they got to be bad goals, right? Like he's got to be getting just beat clean on shots. Like, end of the day, you watch again. There's the 2 goals last game was the breakaway from Thomas, which was the 5th goal, and then kind of the weird poke check play from Schenn. And the other goals, they're point shots with crossing screens that are going off bodies. So yes, I'm not letting them off the hook. That's playoffs. They're going to be firing pucks from everywhere. You got to find a way to get eyes on it and get in front of it. But it's going to take a lot. Unless the game's out of reach, no, you're not starting somebody over. This is no offense to Stuart Skinner, but Connor Hellebuyck's not Stuart Skinner. You're not throwing out anybody else in there.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, it's a guy that we've seen get hot. Binnington made 30 saves. He's won 13 straight home starts. There was a lot of people at the Four Nations like, Canada does not have a hope. Look at the net minding discrepancy, and he was great there, and he's been great since. And if you thought that the Jets were in trouble because the Blues were the worst possible opponent, you might have been right, because even in the games that Winnipeg won in Winnipeg, they were nail biters.
Yeah, and I was thinking the exact same thing as everybody else. This is not an eighth seed. This is not who you want to face in the first round. They're the best team in the league, I believe, from Four Nations on, and absolutely rolling. And Binnington is, listen, I got my qualms about Binner and his antics during the games, which I think is completely unnecessary and embarrassing for him. However, this guy's a gamer, an absolute gamer. He's got a Stanley Cup win. I said, talking about him going into Four Nations, this guy steps it up. He's been in big situations. He's got it done, and that's an asset. That's a real thing, and he's showing it right now. Not only is he feeling good coming off the regular season, because that team is on absolute fire, but this guy knows how to perform when it matters. And he is, like you said, heating up right now. And he's got a little bit of that screw you attitude. Had it in the Four Nations and shut the door. He's going to have it in this series going up against the President's Trophy team. And it's dangerous if you're the Winnipeg Jets.
Do you think he needs that? Like, is that his fuel? Could he just be a normal guy and cool and not, or would he just suck in net? Like, he needs to think it's him against the world?
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know him real well. I've always had respect for the way he plays. I just, the antics to me have always kind of been completely unnecessary. If he throws down one game, if he gets in a fight, I'll stop talking. But I've seen a lot of fake fighting, a lot of fake anger, and it's always when he's playing like garbage too. That's what else drives me nuts. It's fake. Like if you're actually that mad and you're that fired up, it's going to happen sometimes at any time in a game. You're going to get fired up. I tried to fight Gabriel Landeskog. It was 0-0 in the third period. I was having a great game, and Gabe is one of the best guys ever. But for some reason, when I played against him, my wires crossed, and that's going to happen. But for me, watching Binnington, it's always when you're playing like crap.
You had a small sample there in Colorado. You see him score on the weekend. How miraculous is that? How much do guys love him? Because it's a ways away, but you could tell how much that return and that goal meant to Landeskog and the Avs.
And that's what it is. You're seeing exactly what Landy's all about. And again, like I said, I used to battle with him so hard, and I get traded to LA, and he was one of my best buddies on the team, and honestly, one of the best captains that I've ever been around. He just that's obviously a unique group. Nate McKinnon's a unique guy, one of the best players on the planet. But just the whole dynamic of the room, like Gabe Landeskog is the leader of that group through and through, top to bottom, and everybody knows it. Everything he does on and off the ice, he says the right things at the right time. Everybody looks to him, and he'll go out there, he'll score, fight, kill penalties, power play. He does literally everything and could be on the front page of GQ magazine at the same time. So, I mean, there's a reason that you're seeing the reaction from everybody that you're getting for him coming back, because he is that special of a person.
So you've been out of the game for a little bit now. You've got the podcast here with the Nation Network and Oilers Nation going. What have you been doing the last few years?
A lot of coaching. I got three boys, 11, 9, and 7. So doing that with all three of them, that was kind of the majority of the winter here, and just started to get back going with this stuff. Kind of missed it. I didn't do too much of it throughout the winter, and just decided I wanted to get back into it. And I've really been enjoying this stretch here, doing it more often and getting back involved. And then I'm going to be starting my own goalie consulting business here shortly. Actually, I'm going to be launching. So we'll keep our eyes out for that, and I'll make sure I get some plugs in on here. But mainly coaching the kids.
Any goalies or skaters?
My oldest was a goalie. Yes, I fought him on it for a while last year. Last year was his first year, and I already lost a couple years off my life watching him. It is not fun being a goalie parent at all. But it was a lot of fun to work with him throughout the year. My middle might end up being a goalie now next year too. But my youngest is a little goal scorer, and he is not touching a piece of goalie equipment.
Yeah, well, keep it going. And it's something we could talk about in the summer or down the road, but we sit here and we joke about goalies are voodoo. How do you know? You think you got a goalie, you don't. You think you don't have one, he gets red hot, that sort of thing. Do you feel like you've got some kind of intel or a little bit of vision as to how to navigate through these murky waters of goalies?
Oh, like for my kid?
No, just with the goalie consulting and just.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's something that I wanted to do eventually. And then I felt like it was the right time to start to put it together. And that's kind of the thing. My career and my career path is been all over the place. I was drafted in the first round, played in the East Coast, American League, NHL, worked my way up to being a starter. Everything looked great, plummeted, went from starting goalie at the start of the season to third string in the American League by the end of the season, and then signed with Arizona, got back with Minnesota. Everything went great, and I've played internationally, but all these ups and downs and things that I've gone through, I truly enjoy working with kids. When I say kids, I mean all the way up through junior age and that, and feel like I can offer something both with the on ice stuff that I've learned throughout my career, but also, you know, that's kind of the whole part of it. It's a journey. It's not just the on ice stuff. It's the off ice stuff. It's video. It's talking about, you know, navigating the season, navigating daily life as a goalie and the ups and downs. Because listen, when you're in youth hockey, we can watch youth hockey and say, you know, it's just youth hockey. It's just a peewee game. It's just a Bantam game. It's not the end of the world. Well, it is that. It is their world to them, and that's what they're living. And so to be able to kind of help them through that and just get the kids to the highest, to be able to play the highest level that they can play, wherever that is, and let them play hockey for as long as they can play it is my goal, and just to help them through that and make them the best they can be, obviously.
Awesome. So ask Doobie the fan questions. It's probably a lot of Oilers stuff, I would imagine.
It's a lot of Oilers stuff, yes.
Connor, Leo.
But it is on Oilers Nation, but we will take questions. Any questions, you give us something good, we'll answer it. And yeah, we've only done one show, so it was definitely a little weird for me to just be talking to a camera, and you know, I'm not an influencer by any means, so it was a weird thing for me, but really enjoy it, and I think it's fun for people to get candid answers, truly candid answers about whether it's personal life, on the ice. And so that's really the goal, is try to give them the most honest, candid answer to whatever question you want to ask, as long as I'm able to answer it on social media.
What was your minor hockey team in Calgary?
Crowchild. I played Crowchild, which I don't know if that's there anymore. And then the Northwest Association for Bantam.
Calgary Bruins. What's Calgary Bruins? Am I missing that?
That was Bantam. So Bantam AAA was the Stamps and the Bruins, and then it was the Crowchild Blackhawks.
There you go.
There you have it. All right, Matt. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I'd be interested to chat with you at greater length. So
yeah, there's a full 2-hour show on that 13-14 season alone, Dubes. Like, that's incredible. That roller coaster.
It was something.
Too much for today.
Yeah. So we'll catch up again. Thanks, man. Good. Congrats on the show. Good to have you on. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And, of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.